How did it begin? We were hungry. Really hungry. But also really poor. Me and my friend Jeff were having some hard times financially. And it had been at least 2 days since we had eaten any real food. We were currently staying with a guy by the name of Jim Beer. And believe me, he lived up to his name. The guy was 80% alcohol. At any given time of the day, you could find him completely drunk. He was a sergeant in the army. His refrigerator was always stocked with his drink of choice, 6 packs of beer from around the world. Since I don't drink, the foreign beer collection did not impress me in the slightest. I wanted food, and there was none. I looked in the freezer for the 3rd time that day, searching for a stray ice cube to suck on, when I spied something way in the back. It was the corner of something. It was the corner of some packaged meat, buried in the freezer ice. I called Jeff, and we began picking away at the ice with knives and spoons, until finally our prize was revealed. 6 pieces of chicken. Of course, the chicken had expired 2 months ago, but hey, it was buried under half a foot of ice. Han Solo wasn't this frozen. So we put the chicken in the microwave to defrost, pulled out a couple plates, and had even found some barbecue sauce packets in one of the kitchen drawers. This was really starting to shape up until the smell. You know the smell. It's a hot day and you're driving down the road with the top down and bam! You ride by a raccoon that didn't look both ways and ended up smeared across 2 lanes of highway. The smell of rotting meat. The smell that was now drifting out of the microwave. The freezer had not saved this expired chicken. And now that the ice had completely melted off the package, we could see that the meat was a spotchy black gray. Angry and a little tearful, we took the 6-piece salmonella dinner, tossed it into the outside garbage can, and we each had ourselves a large bowl of barbecue sauce soup. And now, 2 things of importance. One that we knew about, and one that we didn't, that pertain to the rest of this story. The week to come was going to be the hottest week of August, if not the entire year. It was the Tuesday when we threw the chicken into the garbage. The garbage man wasn't going to come back again until Monday. This we did not know. The next day, Jeff and myself were walking back from the store after pooling our money and buying some lunch, a pack of gum. We were almost to the door when we got our first whiff of the garbage can. It was a smell from the microwave times 10. I quickly ran to the can and slammed the lid on tight, capturing a small cloud of flies in the process. I then moved the can a few feet further from the house, thinking that would take care of it. The 3 of us were sitting in the house watching TV when it happened again. The garbage can stink drifted in an open window and invaded the entire house. I can't tell you how much worse the rotting meat smell is on an empty stomach. Straws were drawn, and it was Jim who was chosen to move the can this time. He did so with a huge rag plastered to his face. By now he had moved the can almost into the road, and it was covered in a swarm of flies. There were millions of them. And then the heat wave worsened. We were sitting in the house, burning alive. Our only source of coolness came from the open windows, and at 10 we had been forced to close all the windows in the house. The can couldn't be pushed any further into the street, and now we were starting to get looks from the neighbors. I really couldn't blame them. The whole neighborhood reeked of dead animal, and on top of the stench, the garbage can was loud. The buzz of a billion hungry flies. At this point, Jim brought up the idea of taking the chicken back out of the can and refreezing it to rid ourselves of the stench. But none of us had the courage to even take the lid off the can, much less touch the chicken. Garbage man couldn't get here fast enough. The day we had waited for. My God, it was like Christmas. We were all up at dawn, sitting in a row at the window, waiting for the garbage truck. There was no way we were going to miss this. Call us mean, but we wanted to see the garbage man's face when he took the lid off that can. It was the only thing that had made this nightmare worth going through. It took 3 hours. We finally heard the big truck turning the corner heading our way. We all ducked down with just our eyes over the windowsill, giggling insanely. Then the moment came. A hush fell over us, as all eyes were on the man, the unsuspecting man, as he strolled up to the can. I guess that all his years of being a garbage man had dulled his sense of smell to an extent, but even he could tell this was bad. But apparently just not how bad. Jesus, no one could. He lifted the lid and all hell broke loose. We thought there were a lot of flies outside the can, but it couldn't compare to the legion of black devils that emerged from the inside. When the lid was opened, a trillion flies that had never seen the light of day burst out of their tomb, forming the shape of a skull over the can, and I swore I heard them laughing. Then they were gone, and it was time for the smell. As if the stink had a fist. I tell you, it looked like the garbage man had been punched. His head flew back and he stumbled, yelling and clawing at his face like he just opened the Ark of the Covenant. He then pulled a rake off the truck and began to beat the can with it. It was madness out there. Finally, he got control of himself, though still clearly furious. He picked up the can and slammed it into the truck, and slammed it onto the ground, then kicked it in the direction of the house, all the while cursing in our direction. By now, the three of us had all but pissed ourselves laughing at the man, and were rolling around on the floor, holding our mouths, so as not to be heard by the murderous garbage man. We waited about 10 minutes, then went outside to inspect the damage. The stink was nowhere near as horrible as it was, but it was still almost unbearable. As we neared the can, we saw a steady parade of maggots marching out, probably wondering just what the hell was going on. We kick-rolled the can down the street and into a deep hole in the woods, where its contents will hopefully never reach the city's water supply. And I can honestly say that I have never in the years before or since seen or smelled anything quite like that. And I guess neither did the garbage man, for when the next garbage day rolled around, it was a different guy picking up the trash. And as far as I know, that first garbage man never came back to our street. Hell, he might have quit the business altogether, and I can't really say that I blame him.